The Citadel of Chaos holds an important place in fighting fantasy history because it was only the second book in this series, published on the 31st of March 1983, just months after the success of the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Rather than simply repeat the formula of the first adventure, Steve Jackson introduced a dedicated spellcasting system, making the player a wizard instead of a conventional warrior. This was a bold step at the time, giving readers a choice of magical abilities before the adventure began, encouraging multiple playthroughs and different spell-casting selections. The book also helped establish the world of Titan, specifically the continent of Alancia, which would become the setting for many later fighting fantasy adventures. The story centres on the evil sorcerer Balthus Dire, whose looming citadel dominates the surrounding countryside rather than being a simple treasure hunt. The adventure casts the player as a heroic wizard on a mission to assassinate a tyrant before his growing magical power threatens the land. The citadel itself is a maze of laboratories, prisons, monster-filled chambers and magical traps, populated by goblins, orcs, undead creatures and bizarre magical beings. Steve Jackson has since revealed that the villain's name came from the French painter Balthus, while Dire was chosen simply because it sounded suitably sinister. This attention to evocative names became one of the fighting fantasy hallmarks. One of the defining features of the Citadel of Chaos is the work of Russ Nicholson, whose intricate pen and ink illustrations helped establish the visual identity of the early fighting fantasy books. Nicholson's style was exceptionally detailed, using dense cross-hatching and fine line work to create texture and atmosphere rather than rely on heavy black shadows. Many readers have commented that the illustrations were just as responsible for sparking their imagination as Steve Jackson's writing. Citadel of Chaos marks the point where fighting fantasy began to develop its own identity beyond being choose-your-own-adventure book. Success depends not only on combat, but also on the observation, careful resource management, and selecting the right spells for unexpected situations. Many encounters can be overcome through clever use of magic rather than brute force, rewarding experimentation and replayability. Combined with Russ Nicholson's detailed black and white illustrations and its memorable villain, the book has remained one of the defining early entries in the series and is frequently cited by long-time fans as one of the adventures that introduced them to gamebooks and tabletop role-playing.